What is up? Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kier, and this is Jason. And today we are back discussing a movie that's not really that new, but did come out in the last month or so, or movies, I should say. It's actually a trilogy called Fear Street. That is kind of going to be broken down to three parts, and I say without it's a horror film, or films, I should say. And I say without further ado, I say we get right into it. I believe you're going to take this one on, Jason. Tell us all about Fear Street.
All right, so Fear Street is it's a trilogy of movies, like you hinted at, that they all premiered the same day on Netflix. It was about a month ago.
Did they premiere the
And
same day? Because I thought they came out in I
oh
thought last
no,
week.
you're right. Yeah, never mind. I'm sorry. They were 1 week apart. I remember now. Yeah, they were 1 week apart because I was out of town in and out when they were coming out, so I didn't get to watch any of them when they were released, actually. But yeah, you're correct. You're correct. Sorry about that. Yeah, they were all on Netflix, but they all premiered 1 week apart. And the first one premiered, more or less a month ago, about 4 or 5 weeks ago. So they are in three. Most trilogies come in three. It's three movies. One set in 1994, one set in 1978, and one set in 1666. And they all take place in the same area of land that in the 78 and 94 segments are referred to, basically two side-by-side towns, one called Shadyside and one called, I think, Sunnydale or Sunnyvale. And the idea was that in Sunnydale or Sunnyvale is where everything is good, and Shadyside is where all the bad kids come from, and that town has just been plagued by bad luck for centuries.
Yeah.
And they go in reverse chronological order. So the first one was 1994, and basically it starts off like a slasher movie, with a bunch of teenagers being menaced by a killer, but instead of just being a slasher movie, it gradually goes back in time, dealing with basically a curse on the land, and it ends in 1666. Sort of, the first half of that one anyway, where it shows you how the curse originated, and then it slams you back to 1994 for the ending. That's the general basis of it, and I will say also it's based on the book series by R.L. Stine. And unlike Goosebumps, that was also written by R.L. Stine, I did actually read some Fear Street books when I was a kid, but I haven't read them since. I haven't read any of those Fear Street books since I was in junior high, probably. I don't know, honestly, if these stories are based on any of the actual books or just kind of based on just kind of the the atmosphere of those books and the kind of stories they told. But I will say something that really surprised me. I never really read the Goosebumps books, but I did enjoy both of the Goosebumps movies. And I was kind of expecting something along the line of that, like something kind of, kid-oriented. But no, these movies are very R-rated. And that was, yeah, and that was kind of a pleasant surprise for me. Not that I have anything against PG-13 scary movies or anything like that, but it was kind of a pleasant surprise to find out pretty much right off the bat that I was in R-rated horror territory, which is pretty much, my sweet spot. So, but to break it down little by little, it starts in 1994. I liked the 1994 one quite a bit. It comes off, it seems to be kind of modeled after Scream, including the fact that the very first scene is a well-known actress who, well, I mean, it's not much of a spoiler because, like in Scream, the very first scene is a semi-well-known actress being, murdered, basically. And then the rest of the movie is about the people who knew her also being stalked by the same killer. I like that one a lot. It's kind of like, to me, it was kind of like Stranger Things meets Scream. Very 90s. It's got a great soundtrack. Just like one cool 90s song after another. And, I was a teenager in the 90s, so I enjoyed all that stuff. And it's just a fun movie. It's super gory. It's just a good old school slasher. It looks really cool. And it was cool. It was surprisingly gory too. There's a scene involving a bread slicer that may not be plausible, but it sure is
Sure is fun.
surprising and entertaining. Yeah,
Yeah,
it sure is fun.
it
So
sure
I
is a
like
good
that one a
time.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that one a lot. And then I really, really like 1978. That was my personal favorite. And that one goes back to 1978, obviously. It is set at a summer camp, and summer camp slashers, sorry, my glasses keep sliding down. Summer camp slashers are, one of my favorites because I've always loved the Friday the 13th movies. And it's definitely kind of paying homage to the Friday the 13th genre,
Right.
with still kind of that Scream sensibility. It still looks and feels like a modern movie, but they do the setting really well. And this one, kind of like the first one, stars uh, Maya Hawke from Stranger Things. This one has Sadie Sink from Stranger Things, who plays Max
Right.
in Stranger Things. And she's really great. She makes for a great like slasher, spunky slasher heroine. And this was my favorite. It was like surprisingly suspenseful and intense, and I like the relationship between her and her sister. And I was actually really into it. I was really on the edge of my seat by the end. That was my favorite for sure, and probably partially because I'm a Friday the 13th junkie. Then 1666. I know a lot of people really like this one. To me, that was my least favorite. I didn't dislike it, but to me, it just didn't hold the same interest as the other two. The first half of it is set in 1666. It's got kind of a light, kind of a R.L. Stine version of The Witch, kind of sort of, and it was cool. It was fine. My main issue was when it slammed back to 1994 for the second half of it, and it's been weeks since I watched it, so I don't remember specifically. I just remember after being really invested in the first one, after being really invested in the second one, this one, the way it wrapped up all of the storylines, it just, I don't know, it didn't do it for me. I guess I was expecting a better finale. So that was my least favorite, even though I didn't dislike it. I liked it fine. So I say I would give the first one a 4 out of 5, a B plus. I give 1978 a 4 out of 5, a B plus also, but I did definitely like it more. It's almost an A minus. And then the third one I would give 3 out of 5, probably like a C plus, B minus. But all in all, I really enjoyed the trilogy. I like the idea of having like a trilogy of movies that are released, week by week. And if I had been in town, I would have definitely watched it. I would have looked forward to it the next week. So I thought it was a really cool idea, and I really liked it for the most part. So how about you?
Yeah, I really like the concept. I like horror also. I'm not quite as big into horror as you are, of course. But I do really love horror, and I like that each year, the 1994, 1978, and 1666, all kind of um, modeled themselves after, like you said, paid homage to a lot of different films like Scream, and then you know, camp. Obviously, like kind of like a Crystal Lake kind of camp setting. Like Friday the
Mm-hmm.
13th, and then the 1666, like you said, kind of like a witch, the witch. You know what I mean? Kind of like in that realm. So I do like that they kind of paid homage to it. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I actually liked them in reverse order. I thought the first one
Ah,
was actually the weakest one. That one came across as a
oh,
little cheesy in parts for me. I don't know. And I felt like that one leaned a little bit too heavily on some of the Scream elements and some of that stuff in the beginning. When I first was watching, I was like, oh, this is just like another Scream film. It definitely does get a little better as it goes on, but for the first, like, I don't know, 30 minutes, it just felt like a Scream ripoff to me or something. But I felt like it did get better. But I like that one. And then, like you, I really liked the 1978 version. I thought that was a great homage to that. And I actually really enjoyed the 1666 one. And I didn't think I would like that one as much just because it was set so old. But I like how it kind of ties everything together, without going into spoilers. I like that it did come back and kind of wrapped everything up. I mean, you can argue whether it was quick or not. I don't know, but I like that. I like that aspect of it. So I actually liked them in reverse order. Yeah. So actually, my least was probably the 94, and then the 78, and then the 1666 one is probably how I would rank them. not by that much of a degree of difference. I would give the 1994 3 stars. I gave the 1978 one 3.5 stars, and I gave the 1666 one also 3.5 stars. But I just liked that just a little bit more, is all. So, but no, I really liked
Yeah.
how everything wrapped up. I thought it was a great trilogy. I thought it was fun to have, like you said, a movie that where you don't have to wait 2 years for the next part to come out or anything like that. I like that you were able to see the first one, and then the next week another one comes out, and the next week another one comes out. I really like that that aspect, and I always like it whenever films do that. Like when we saw Grindhouse, you know what I mean, where you get to like the old school Grindhouse film. You watch a film, there's your intermission, and then with commercials or whatever, and then you see a second film, or even Tarantino's notorious for this, so I have to keep using him as an example. But also with the Hateful Eight, where there's like an intermission in the middle, and you go out and get popcorn, and you come back. I just like it when directors or there's a style where they do something just a little bit different to kind of keep you entertained or whatever case may be. And I thought these were really, really entertaining. I really liked that they were able to shoot everything together, because even nowadays they shoot movies back to back all the time, but they don't release them all back to back all the time like that. You know what I mean? Like I think. I don't know. I know your Lord of the Rings. I want to say the last two were shot at the same time or something of that nature. But
I think all three of them were shot at the same time.
Yeah, but they came out like years apart.
A year apart, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and and so a lot of times they will do that just because it probably also saves on money doing it that way. If you have the actors there, you can just get it done and get it out the way. But it would be interesting if they released all those films out a week after each other or something of that nature. So I thought it was fun because like, oh cool, next Friday I'm gonna watch the 1978 version or see where the story goes. And at the time when I first heard about these films, I heard it was gonna be a trilogy. One, I didn't expect that they were all going to be tied in together. I thought they might be all different films. You know what I mean? Like, because there's different actors in all of them. So I didn't realize that there was going to be tie-ins between the three films when I first heard about them. So when I watched the first one, I just kind of, I knew towards the end because of whatever happens, there might be more to that story. But I didn't realize that they were all going to be tied in together. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, okay. It wasn't until I saw the 1978 version, and I was just like, oh, okay. So they're all going to follow a kind of theme, and then they really hit you with the 1666 one where they kind of tie everything together, and I thought that was great. I enjoyed that aspect of it. So, but yeah, I thought they were fun.
Yeah, I think
they were great.
I think maybe I just need to watch them again and watch because basically, how sometimes you're just expecting things to go one way, and then you're kind of disappointed when they don't. It's kind of hard to be objective. Yeah. I think, there's a couple storylines that I was really expecting and hoping would turn out a different way. And I guess sometimes when that happens, it's hard to be objective when you see it going a way that you didn't think it would. So maybe I just need to watch it again with a fresh pair of eyes. That might be part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. No, I definitely really enjoyed the third one. I thought it was great. Like I said, I thought it was the best one. And I'm going to be honest, that was the one I was least looking forward to. Because even when I heard about him, I was just like, 1994, that sounds okay. And I was like, 1978, that sounds cool. And then I heard 1666, I was like, what is that about? You know what I mean? Like, what was going on back in
I don't want no period movie.
I was definitely concerned about that. So I was actually, it surprised me in a good way because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So it was really, really interesting. So, and, like I said, I did like how it tied everything together. Obviously, they spend less time in 1666 because they do tie everything back together versus the other two are pretty much most of the movies is set, in 1994, barring a brief flashback or whatever. And, 1978, there's the beginning part of it, and then it's pretty much 1978 for the most of it. So, but no, I definitely I liked how they were shot. I liked how they all tie in together. It's a good story, and like I said, I really enjoyed them. I thought they were cool. So and I would definitely rewatch them again, and probably will at some point if I get a chance.
And me too. And I would like to clarify and correct myself. I feel bad for referring to Drew Barrymore and Maya Hawke as semi-famous actresses. So I feel kind of bad about that. So
yeah, if you're watching,
both awesome.
Drew Barrymore or Maya Hawke, that was him.
Yeah. I take it back. I take it all back.
If you were thinking about doing our show and now you're thinking about, no, I don't think so, that's not because of me. I did not throw you guys under the bus. I think you guys are phenomenal stars and A-list stars.
Me too. Me too.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, anything else you want to add about Fear Street?
Nope.
Cool. Well, overall, we kind of already gave our reviews on those ones. So, we definitely enjoyed them. Obviously, let us know down in the comments. Have you seen all three of them? And hopefully, if you watch one, you watch the other two, unless you just really hated the first one. I could see that. But otherwise, there would be no reason for you to watch the first one and not watch the other two because you're missing the entire story, of course. But let us know down in the comments. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Don't leave any spoilers, please. As always, if you like the channel, we always ask you that you like, subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our updates. And we'll be back again with another show for you guys again real soon. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. Bye.
Bye.